one, but 3 of his sister's single friends to dinner. She'd claimed altruistic reasons, not wanting the poor dears to be alone at the holiday. Yeah, right. She clearly held on to hope that he'd find a happily ever after. Over a romantic platter of turkey carcass, no less. Max didn't want or need a relationship. He preferred to keep things uncomplicated. He stuck to women who played in the same sandbox and understood that his happily ever afters followed 3 simple rules. Rule 1, one night only. Rule 2, no sleeping over, too messy. Rule 3, no personal information exchanged. Even he could acknowledge he was too rigid to successfully maneuver a lasting relationship. He told himself he didn't want one, even if he envied the easy devotion between his own parents, or even between his best friend Drew and his new girlfriend Cassie. But that wasn't an option for Max. The rules kept things operational. However, the speculative looks in the eyes of all the women in that house were not simple or uncomplicated. He'd pictured himself laid out with the Thanksgiving feast like a roast pig with an apple in his mouth. Even the blonde, gorgeous and witty as she was, held 0 appeal. Any woman who offered to feed him from her own fork was not for him. After several hours of polite chit-chat peppered with flirtatious looks and expectant watchfulness from his mother, as well as his aunts and sisters, he did the most out-of-character thing he'd ever done. With a mouth full of pumpkin pie, he announced he had a girlfriend. To which, after choking around her initial shock, his mother replied, "That's wonderful! We'll set a place for her at Christmas then." His mother's powers of deduction would do Sherlock Holmes proud. He'd semi-expected her to stand up from the dinner table, point an accusing finger at him, and shout, "Liar!" Instead, she'd done something far worse and called his bluff. "Fuck," he grumbled. The word had become his mantra over the last 3 days while he avoided questions about his fictitious girlfriend and tried to work a way out of the mess he'd landed himself in. The elevator reached his floor with a ping, and the doors whooshed back open. Lost in thought, he slowly made his way down the long, curving hallway, tastefully decorated with hardwood flooring, pale gray walls, and framed black and white prints. The space was softly illuminated by the evening light filtering through windows at the end of each hall in a way he usually found soothing. Not tonight, though. Rolling his shoulders to relieve the tension in his neck, he blew out a long breath. What he needed right now was a good long run on the treadmill down in the gym, but he needed to unpack first. He'd go later, at his usual time. The thought of slipping back into his normal routine after a week of chaos already had the knot in his stomach loosening up. His life was exactly how he wanted it. He went to work, he had exactly 4 cups of coffee throughout the day as he investigated white-collar criminals, he came home, he ordered takeout from one of the dozen restaurants in the neighborhood. They knew exactly what he wanted when he called because he didn't deviate. When insomnia inevitably struck, he'd go to the building's gym and work out alone. Add in regular workouts with Drew 4 days a week, along with beers with friends over a good game or a night of poker, and he had the perfect setup, no wife needed. The long drive home had produced a pitiful list of ideas. I'll either have to fabricate a breakup before Christmas, which was guaranteed to bring more potential love matches out of his mother's woodwork, or I'm going to have to produce a real, live girlfriend. There were women he could approach, ladies who he'd shared a bed with but nothing else, but that produced its own set of complications. Or he could just pick up a new woman. Only he was getting bored with the revolving door of his sex life. Not that he planned to change it anytime soon. Casual sex with women who got the rules was better than no sex at all. Besides, introducing one of them to his family would break his personal rule of no information exchanged, so that was out. The beginnings of a headache pinched behind his eyes. While there might be any number of undercover agents he could tap for the job, the years of jokes that would generate at work shoved that option right off the table. Maybe someone separate from his team? The receptionist at the field office was nice. Slender and pretty in a girl-next-door kind of way. Perfect for deceiving matchmaking.